Hey there, this is Dr. Stephanie Falk, and today I want to talk about our internal dialogues. What are internal dialogues? Internal dialogues are basically the stories that we tell ourselves about the world around us. We have dialogues about other people, we have dialogues about groups of people, we have dialogues about ourselves. Today I want to focus on the dialogues about ourselves. When we have a stressful event, we very quickly interpret that event. And often we're able to say, oh shoot, like I'm upset that that happened, but it's all right, and I'm all right. Or we say something like, dang, that was a mistake that I made, but I'm going to live and learn, and I'm going to do better, and it's all good. Unfortunately, there's a third interpretation, which is a very quick knee-jerk reaction to say, oh, well, that awful thing happened. I'm awful. That sucks. And I'm awful. I can't get any better. Or see this as another confirmation that I'm just not any good. Those thoughts that are hurtful, not helpful, they're not random. They don't just fall out of the sky. Usually they're embedded in really difficult life experiences that we've had, or stories that other people have told us about ourselves that are really negative in nature. And unfortunately, they've taken root in our hearts, in our head, and we've allowed them to have space and power. So not only did someone hurt us, or an interaction or experience hurt us in the first place, but then because we've allowed it to take root, it continues to hurt us. And that person or group of people continues to hurt us time and time again. And it's a really interesting and challenging thought to think that someone who's hurt us has the continued capacity to hurt us because we've embraced the awful stories or messages that they've sent our way. We hardly ever privilege the voices of people that we actively know that, we don't respect or care about in the here and now. So for instance, if someone says something really negative to you, but it's someone that you can't stand, it's usually not going to take up as much headspace or space in your heart. But when it's a past event and it's kind of spiraled over time, or snowballed, if you will, over time, it's a lot sneakier, and it's harder to make the connection between that difficult life experience or interaction and the here and now, and how you're interpreting your sense of self. But what I'm here to tell you is that if your go-to reaction is a really negative response about you, then it probably is embedded in different experiences over time that have built up. And it's this very sneaky way that those past experiences or relationships continue to hurt you. So what do you do about it? I think the first thing is that you become aware of your internal dialogue. You become aware of it, you label it, you say, hey, I know what this is about, I know why I'm thinking this, but guess what? I can choose to do this a little bit different. And you decide to start to reinterpret the difficult story or narrative that someone has caused you to internalize about yourself. You reinterpret life events, and you challenge yourself to kick it to the curb and to continue, or to not to continue, to discontinue to give headspace to those negative things. So when something negative happens, I think it's important to say, okay, wait a second, my knee-jerk reaction is that I suck here, but I'm not going to go there because I know what this is about. I know where it comes from. It doesn't fall out of the sky, but it is not my reality. That's just an old story that I've unfortunately bought into. And practice saying, I'm okay. This event is frustrating or disappointing, but you know what? I'm okay. I think if we could all pay attention to our internal dialogues and shift them a little bit to treat them in the way, or treat ourselves in the way that we would treat a friend, then I think we could have a lot better experiences in our day-to-day life. For instance, consider that someone could, crack your head open a little bit and have a sneak preview and try to figure out and look at all of the thoughts that you tell yourself, all the stories that you make up about you. Would they think that you were a kind person? Would they think that you were a kind friend? I really like the idea of being friends with yourself. We often talk about self-esteem and confidence, and I think they're great concepts to explore, but I think having a healthy relationship with yourself is a little bit deeper. It's a little bit more empowering. And a really good check and balance system is to say, okay, what would I tell my friend in this moment of frustration or disappointment or anger? What would I say to them about them? And how would I comfort them and nurture them? And that will kind of give you a window into the type of healthy internal dialogue that can start to replace those icky, unhelpful, not true stories that are negative that you carry around. So I appreciate you tuning in. If you don't want to miss a video, feel free to subscribe. And I hope this finds you having an absolutely beautiful day. Thank you.